Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of Medtalk, insightful career conversations for, by and with doctors. And who do we have over here? Welcome Dr. Amit. Dr. Amit Karat is a radiologist and the co-founder of Deep Tech, an AI startup. Can you beat that one? No, right? Welcome.
Pleasure meeting you.
And plus, we have a very young, dynamic, our previous champion of champions, MedEngage winner, Dr. Tejas Shelar, who is currently interning at the Cooper Hospital. Welcome, Dr. Tejas.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, Dr. Amit, while everybody is still talking and guessing and figuring out how to beat this new era of health tech or startups, entrepreneurship, artificial intelligence, you've actually done it. And it's amazing how you've sort of treaded and succeeded in this unbeaten path. So would you like to just share with our audience, how did you go about this? How did the idea come to you? And how did you materialize this idea into a full-grown company?
First of all, Kirti, thanks a lot for calling me here. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss my journey with all of you. I think just to give a very quick recap about Deep Tech. Deep Tech is an AI startup which we started in 2017, 2018. In the first 6 months of this journey, it was purely research, where we dedicated most of our time in understanding how this space is going to evolve over the next, not 5 years, but in the next 10 years, 15 years, and so on and so forth. And that journey started in 2017. It's when I incidentally or coincidentally, I should say, met my co-founder Ajit, who was looking for radiologists who are going to work with him in this space and take this journey forward. So he pretty decided that this is a very innovative space and he needed colleagues from the radiology who are already knowing or having good amount of domain knowledge in this space. And coincidentally, we got linked through a common acquaintance. And that's how our journey started. So we started in the first 6 months, we visited RSNA. We explored a lot of AI companies. We discussed and talked with them. We did a lot of interviews with a lot of clinicians who are practicing in the US, in Europe, as well as in India. And then we started, hey, this is interesting. There could be a good potential opportunity to start in this space. And that's how the journey began and we started exploring. And when we initially started, we decided right from day one that if we want to consume AI in the space of radiology, we have to start by building a platform. So we decided that it's not only about building AI solutions, we also have to start by building a platform. So right from day one of the company, we started building this platform, which will be used not only by radiologists within hospitals, imaging clinics, research institutions, but also in their day-to-day practice. So that was a very big journey. We never realized that we started this journey, but what was it that we were trying to achieve, because we had only a seed series funding at that time. And we started this journey, the journey began, and luckily we received some very good support from NGOs working in the tuberculosis screening space, which wanted us to create some solutions for TB screening. And that's how our journey for the first AI model creation began. We started with the TB screening. Today it's evolved into a full-scale product. And the platform also, now it's more than a 6 years journey, has evolved to kind of take care of more than 1,000 hospitals in India where we have deployed.
Wow.
And even beyond India. And of course, our chest AI solutions are being used not only in India, beyond India as well, and mostly in Asia Pacific region and in Africa. So it's all started with this 2017 meeting with a colleague through a common acquaintance, and that's how the journey began. That's where we are today. But if you ask me specifically, we never decided that I will be in the space of AI. I was primarily in the space of teleradiology. I was doing teleradiology for more than 10 to 14 years. And I realized that it's impossible to scale teleradiology without technology. There's a huge demand, there's a requirement. There are people who are waiting for radiology reports for days, weeks and months. But there is no way we can succeed in able to deliver these reports to the radiologist if we don't have enough number of radiologists. And how do we actually empower the available radiologists today? And how do we scale these radiologists? And that's where all this materialized into an AI company. And that's today the vision of Deep Tech, that we need to empower radiologists so that they get augmented. So even if we have few radiologists, they're able to do more work and be able to deliver those reports on time. So that's in a very small nutshell about deep tech and its journey.
That's awesome. And as I always say, and put forth very clearly by Dr. Amit, first, you have to do research. You have to know what you're doing. Secondly, collaboration is very important. There's no need to, run a single man army. You have to collaborate with the right people. Third, what he said, identify a need. Don't just go and put efforts in an area where there is no need. TB, as we all know, everybody is chasing it. We're all partnering with the government on TB Mukt Bharat. So basically, TB is a gross issue with our country, and anybody who can get into it, solve a problem, I think will get taken up very well. And last but not the least, the very important thing of using technology to scale. So, those doctors or professionals or anybody who get worried about AI coming and taking away, no. It is just that we'll be able to clear more caseload and handle more volume. And that is why, actually Metropolis has started digital pathology. We were the first to start. And we are very clear that the high volumes that we cater to, we want to maintain the quality and the expertise and, continue to offer conclusive diagnosis. We will need the help of technology. So thank you so much, Dr. Amit, for highlighting these areas, and congratulations to you and your team, and all the best, and hope you're able to put the stamp of deep tech in more and more countries and institutions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Tejas, exciting?
Yeah, I'm excited. First of all, I'm grateful to be part of event which has stalwarts like Dr. Kirti and Dr. Amit. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Okay. So, Dr. Tejas, what I want you to share with us, what we don't know that well, right? So, I think today the generation gap starts in 5 years. Before you know it, something has become old, something has become new. So maybe, you think we are famous and successful, but we may be dated as far as a few things are concerned. So it's no harm learning from Gen Next. So why don't you tell us that what is the current 3 trends, that your generation doctors are, putting their hands and feet in and trying to get good at if they want to, ace their careers going forward?
Thank you so much for the question. So firstly, I don't think so you guys are outdated or anything. It's like on your shoulders, we are standing and moving forward as a health professional community. And yes, coming to the question, first of all, I think social media today is like a huge thing. And everyone, like every health professional needs to access, because the resources available are just amazing and mind-boggling. Especially a platform like LinkedIn. It is quite professional and it helps us to reach people, educate our younger generation, as well as seek mentorship. So it is a multifaceted social media. Also, another thing which I personally love is the entry of virtual reality. It is not only helpful for educating, but also getting a hand about various techniques, for example, in surgery. And even for the patients, it can be used as a medium to educate so that compliance can be improved. So yes, that is what I think are the trends.
Great. So while the younger generation is definitely delving into it, I would recommend, those of us who, are little older, I don't want to say old, but yeah, older, maybe those of us who are not dabbling enough with social media and virtual reality, we should take some baby steps, because definitely there is a lot going on in that space, and there is a lot to learn actually. There is a lot to learn, and you're never too old to learn, right? So thank you. Yeah. So Dr. Amit, apart from medical expertise, which obviously you have in abundance, being an ace radiologist and covering so much ground, what do you think are the few non-medical skills which actually helped you, or rather helped deep tech, achieve the milestones that were required?
Yeah, I think interesting question. There are a few things which I feel are extremely important, specifically if you're asking me in terms of the company perspective, and there are certain things in terms of personal as well. In terms of company, I think is the team. So if you're looking at a company, it's all about the team. Individually, you can only walk a certain distance. With a team, you can walk endlessly and you can achieve your goals faster, and you learn a lot from your team. So having the right team is extremely important if you're looking in terms of the company's perspective. I'm very lucky to say that we have an extremely amazing team. We are a small company of around 100 people, But when we started this company, we were just around 5 to 10 people. And that core leadership team still remains and works very closely.
That's really
And
awesome.
I think that's one of the most important reason I feel that we have been succeeding in what we have been doing. The second important thing I believe at a personal level, and that's where I think every domain leader in the leadership team needs to contribute in his own way into the company's development and their own personal development. For me, I think the personal development component came through, attending events or being part of events, not necessarily specific to your own domain. So it could be networking with the IT or networking with some colleagues from different industry, attending those events and learning from them and seeing how we could apply those particular learnings to your particular field. And that has been something which has been very interesting journey. And third is, I think, to keep on evolving, to be like a sponge, to absorb good as well as bad. Like if there are criticisms, accept it with an open mind, so that you can innovate, learn, and could better your product or your journey. So I think these are the three pretty critical things. I think team. The second thing I believe is engaging in community beyond your own community. So talking to them, networking with them, learning from them, and be open to criticism. So because if you are building products, if you are not taking criticisms, you are not showcasing it to the right people. You have to receive negative feedbacks as well about your product, and not only positive feedbacks, because you have to take it to, if you're not receiving good number of negative feedbacks, that means you're not taking it to enough number of people. Then probably you are in a right journey to kind of take the product to the market, because it's a big journey from research to commercialization.
Wow. You have to really, have done that to say that, right? How many people can say that to an open forum? So I think kudos to you for that, Dr. Amit, and no wonder you are where you are. So no one person can take, the responsibility or the credit or the discredit for anything. It is always a team, and it's a team that does the work and the team that should move forward. And you should carry your team with you, like the way they've carried from 5-member to a 100-member team, and amazing. So I think that's great. And this thing of, involved in non-domain areas is very important. We cannot live in this silo, we have to be cross-functional, multi-speciality, because you have to at least know what is happening in the other domain, right? Awareness is also very important, and that also teaches you a lot. And the third, as he said very rightly, our MD also says this always, be a sponge, just keep absorbing, good, bad, just absorb. And then, of course, the end of the day, call is yours. What do you really want to change? But at least get the feedback, at least take the feedback. And as he said very correctly, if you've not got enough negative feedback, your product has not gone to enough people or the right people, because criticism is actually what builds excellence. So on that note, thank you so much, Dr. Amit, for these lessons. And I think we'll all try to keep that in mind. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Tejas, what have you decided to do? What specialist do you want to become?
So this question is a bit personal. I am the first generation doctor, that is in my entire ancestry. I'm the first one to actually pursue medicine. And right from the beginning, neurosurgery had my heart and brain captivated. And I want to become a neurosurgeon. 10 years down the line, I do see myself performing surgeries.
Wow. So what steps are you taking to become a good neurosurgeon, and what learning platforms and what strategy have you thought of and you want to share with your generation next, the young medical students who aspire? Can you share that?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So I have decided to go to the abroad, that is UK, to pursue my post graduation. So I'm going via the PLAB pathway. So it has 2 steps, PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. One happens in India online, and second we have to go to the UK and actually give the exam. Those are not difficult, absolutely doable. As a matter of fact, a bit easier because we've been accustomed to so much difficulty levels of exams during our MBBS levels that it becomes good,
Wow.
easy.
What confidence!
Yeah, but it depends like how good you've studied. So I currently am using Plabable, which is actually a combination of 1700 questions, and also Plab keys, which are actually flashcards. So it approximately takes 4 to 5 months of preparation to crack your Plab 1. And after that, once you're done, the results come and then you apply for PLAB 2. Once PLAB 2 is cleared as well, when you go to the UK and give it, then you can actually get into the PG seat and start your training.
I love the way she's so sorted and so confident. Like I can imagine her studying actually in the UK already, right, Dr. Amit?
Oh my God.
I wish she was so sorted and so confident, no?
Just amazing kind of clarity of thought as to what's to be done in the next few months.
Great.
Just amazing.
Thank you so much. It
I
means a lot.
just hope that you never lose this confidence and this sortedness that you have. Always keep it with you, no matter what the difficulty in front of you.
Thank you so much. Something coming from people like you, it means a lot.
We are learning a lot from you.
So to end the session, Dr. Amit, I think it would be incomplete if you did not teach our audience how to become an entrepreneur, how to even think of starting and start up, whether it be AI or anything. Can you share some pearls?
Yeah, I think in medical field has one of the cream of society, right? And there's such amazing and talented individuals everywhere. Every specialty branch, you have such amazing talent and great clinicians everywhere. So in terms of technology also, I don't think medical experts are behind. They know everything what's happening. It's only the point is how do you dedicate your time between your clinical practice and time for research, because any commercialization of any product or going and creating a company will start with research. So the idea is like in a practice, how much time you're willing to give. You could practice 24 hours a day but I think you have limited time at hand and you have to give that time to research. And if you're able to successfully pass that phase, you're sure making a journey ahead towards entrepreneurship. And that's true for anyone. And gradually then you realize that your clinical time keeps on reducing over the months to years and you become more and more of a research, and from research you take the next step towards commercialization. So that journey for some could be for a few months to years depending on what field they're working, and for some it could be maybe much more longer. But typically you have to look at least a 5-year journey. It's not something that you're taking a jump and it's going to happen next day. It's going to be minimum 5 years journey. And again, as I said, it has to be with the right team. So you cannot do it individually. So you have to grow beyond thinking that it could be done individually, because you can't do everything. And you have to do a right balance. The balance is extremely important. So if you're able to balance your clinical practice and your entrepreneurship, you're able to develop a good team, you're able to dedicate time, energy, effort, probably you're started walking towards the entrepreneurship side. And of course, it has its highs and lows. So we need to take into effect that it will come with moments which will be your eureka moments, and moments where you'll feel like it's not going to happen. But I think you have to live through those emotions and keep on taking it ahead as long as you believe in your vision and conviction. That's point one. But point two is, do your users of your product, your future users of your product, believe in the same at the same time. Because it may happen that you may have a strong vision and conviction, but if you have not validated that vision with 100 different users, which could be then probably it may not be the right thing to do, because you're investing your time, energy and effort in that particular direction. So you should have a strong conviction, plus you have to validate that vision. So anyone who is wishing to go into this journey need to start carving out time now. And there's no particular time when to start. You could start it fresh, or it will start late. As I said, it could be late bloomers. I'm one of the late bloomers kind of a thing, because that also brings a different level of experience. And starting early also has the advantage of going in all together, right? But if you start in late, the advantage is like you have seen the journey in that subspecialty or that field. As a result of this, you know where there are areas where you could improve upon, and then you can take that initiative to develop some tools in those areas. But you need to look at a global vision. You need to see, what are you building? Is it for a niche audience or for a global audience? Is it going to impact a few lives or a significant number of lives? Even if you impact a few lives, but it's going to be a very critical solution, it's extremely important. And if you're building for a global level, then what does it take to build for a global level? So you have to do all these you should have a product plan in place. You should have all those ideas in place. I think that's how it is, and I think I always want medical doctors and experts to take this journey and be an entrepreneur.
So conviction in your product and research and time management is one aspect, but
Right.
can you also a little bit touch upon funding?
Yeah.
The question that must be on everyone's mind.
I think very interesting question and very important question. As I said, when I started my teleradiology company, it was a bootstrapped company. And because we are domain experts, and today the technology is at hand, that you could use anything right from cloud sourcing solutions and software to run your companies. And it started as a bootstrap company. So that, and then you're the
Some
same.
people may not know bootstrap. Can
right.
you explain?
Yeah, so bootstrapping means like you're investing your own funds to start your company. You're not taking anything in terms of any loans from the bank, either or soft loans, or not taking any investment from any venture capitalists. You're basically putting in your own money, or you're putting your time. It could be either of them. And as medical experts, we have the great advantage that we could give both and still run it very successfully. And that's something which when I started my teleradiology company, it started that way. It was just 1 or 2 centers, and I was the only radiologist working for this company. And then it grew to around 10-15 centers, and today we are at 1,000 centers and more than 110 plus radiologists working as a community to support these centers. So that's one part of it. And then the second is, I think, the seed series funding. So we raised our seed series from a company called NTT Data, which is a very large company out of Japan. And they came in with a seed series funding, and they put in $1 million in the company because they agreed and they liked the vision, and they wanted to see how we would take it ahead and build a technology in this. And lately we raised our Series A, and we are now a Tata company. So we are a Tata Group company. So
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We raised around $10 million US dollars till date, and we are actively now started looking for Series B funding. So it's extremely important that funding is extremely important. So it's a team, but at the same time your runway is important. So you can start building products, but then a very important question comes as to what you're building and how you're building matters a lot. Because what are those things that you're building? Is it those small things which are going to give you that incremental gains? Or what is that thing? How are you going to invest your time in building that thing? What is it that is very important? Will come, because there are 1,000 things you can build, right? If you're building a platform, it is one of the most humongously complex journey. So where exactly it can really matter for the customer? How your customers experience, which are customers here, we are not directly dealing with patients. We are dealing with other diagnostic imaging chains and labs. We are dealing with hospitals. How does their experience change? Are they able to save 1 hour a day? Are the radiologists able to save 1 hour plus? At the same time, are you improving quality? Are you improving the report turnaround time? Are you able to reach a larger number of people? Are the radiologists able to give diagnosis for a more number of patients? So all these things matter, and they all have to go into a product design. And that can only happen if you have a good amount of funding. So funding is extremely important. Without VC funding, without strategic investors, probably this journey cannot be done. And the advantage of that is what is happening in 10 years could happen in 5 years, or could happen in 3 years. So you get a push which you need to get your product in the market quickly. It's extremely important to have good investors on your side to take this journey ahead.
Wow, how many people are ready to start their own company now? So on that note, thank you so much, dear audience, for tuning in. Thank you, Dr. Amit, and thank you, Dr. Tejas.
Pleasure.
Thank you,
It's a pleasure to be here.
Dr. Kirti.